Have you ever considered that the digital world we built for ourselves might actually have a place for the other creatures we share our homes with? We live in a time where we constantly reach for our phones and tablets to feel close to someone far away. We use glass screens to bridge the distance between us and our families or friends. But while we are busy talking to our loved ones on a screen, our pets are often sitting quietly in the corner of the room. We think of them as companions who are satisfied just by being near us. We imagine that a bowl of food and a safe place to sleep is all they really need to be happy. However, there is a much deeper story happening inside the minds of these animals. They have complex social lives and emotional needs that we are only just beginning to understand. If we look closely at how animals interact with each other in the wild, we see a world filled with deep friendships and constant communication. When we bring these animals into our human lives, we often change their world in ways we do not notice. This is especially true for creatures like parrots, who are famous for their intelligence and their ability to talk. In nature, these birds never live alone. They belong to large groups where they talk and play and look after one another every single day. Yet in our homes, they are often kept in cages or rooms by themselves for many hours. This setting creates a strange gap between their natural social instincts and their daily reality. We are now starting to explore if the same technology that keeps humans connected could also help these social birds. On the surface, we see the concept of digital interaction for animals. We see a bird touching a tablet screen with its tongue to start a video call. At first, this might look like a simple trick or a funny game. We might think the bird is just reacting to bright lights and moving colors on the glass. But when we look at the data, we find something much more significant. These birds are not just tapping randomly. They actually have favorite friends that they choose to call more often than others. They recognize specific faces and voices. This shows that the surface act of using a computer is actually driven by a real desire for social contact. It is not just about the machine but about the individual on the other side of the camera. This leads us to a hidden assumption that we often carry about non-human intelligence. We assume that animals only care about physical things like food or physical touch from their owners. We believe that their world is limited to what they can smell and touch right in front of them. We rarely think that an animal could value a digital friendship or feel a sense of belonging through a screen. But the behavior of these birds proves us wrong. When they are on a video call, they do not just stare at the screen. They engage in complex social rituals. They groom themselves at the same time as the other bird, which is a sign of deep trust. They show each other their favorite toys as if they are proud of what they own. They even dance and sing together in a way that matches the rhythm of their friend. This shows that they understand the concept of a shared experience even when they are not in the same room. The hidden assumption that animals lack the imagination for digital connection is being challenged by every call they make. There is also a fascinating structural pattern in how social beings behave. We see a pattern of reciprocity. This means that the more a bird receives calls from others, the more it wants to call back. This is exactly how human friendships work. If a friend calls you often, you feel more connected and you are more likely to pick up the phone to talk to them later. This structural pattern of social loops is a fundamental part of being a social creature. It shows that sociality is like a muscle that needs to be exercised. When the birds have access to this system, they become more active and more engaged with the world around them. This pattern extends even to the humans who care for these birds. Every single person who looked after a bird using this system reported that they felt a stronger bond with their pet. By watching their bird make a friend, the humans learn to trust and respect their animals more. The structure of the relationship shifted from one of owner and pet to one of two companions navigating a social world together. We can reframe our entire perspective on technology by seeing it as a bridge rather than a barrier. Often we worry that screens are making us less human or pulling us away from nature. But here we see technology doing the opposite. It is helping a captive animal return to its natural social state. We can reframe the computer as a tool for empathy. It allows us to see the world through the eyes of another species. When we see a parrot reaching out across the digital divide to find a friend, we realize that the need for connection is a universal force. It does not belong only to humans. This perspective changes how we think about our responsibilities as caregivers. We are not just providing a home, but we are managing a complex emotional life. We can apply this insight to our own daily lives by thinking about how we use our tools to connect. We often use video calls for work or for quick updates, but we can also use them for shared activities. Just as the birds dance and play through the screen, we can find ways to be present with our friends even when we are far apart. We can also think about the other animals in our lives. While not every pet can use a tablet, we can still ask ourselves if we are meeting their social and emotional needs. Maybe your dog needs a playdate or your cat needs more interactive time with you. The lesson from the parrots is that connection is a vital part of health. It is not a luxury but a necessity for a well-lived life. This encourages us to look for creative ways to improve the lives of those around us, whether they have 2 legs or 4. As we move deeper into this exploration, we start to see the enormous potential for the future. We are just at the beginning of understanding how to design technology that fits the unique needs of different species. Imagine a world where all social animals in captivity have the chance to reach out to their own kind. It could change how we run zoos and how we think about animal welfare in our cities. The fact that every animal given this technology chooses to use it tells us that there is a huge hunger for connection that we have ignored for a long time. This is a call to action for us to be more imaginative and more compassionate. We are learning that the divide between us and the rest of the animal kingdom is not as wide as we once thought. We share the same basic needs for friendship and play and recognition. When we see a bird singing to a screen, we are seeing a reflection of our own hearts. It is a beautiful and quiet reminder that nobody wants to be alone. This technology is not just about birds but about expanding our definition of community. It teaches us to listen better and to look more closely at the lives of those who cannot speak our language. We are building a world where connection is possible for everyone across every divide. Every call made by a parrot is a step toward a more connected and empathetic planet. It is a reminder that even in a digital age, the most important thing we can do is reach out and say hello to someone else. This practice of digital empathy is a powerful way to make our world a little bit kinder and a lot more interesting. We should be excited about the possibilities that open up when we stop thinking of ourselves as the only ones who can use a tool for love. The next time you see your own reflection in a screen, think about the millions of other creatures who might be looking for a friendly face too. We are all part of a giant social web that is much larger and more beautiful than we ever realized. If we could truly understand the social desires of every creature in our care, how would that change the way we design our homes and our future technology?